EG.IdrA against our Tosis debate, and keep going back and forth.
That'll be easy.
I was just actually going to ask you about horses, honestly.
You want to know about a race of animals that don't give a shit that they've been in slavery for hundreds of thousands of years? Guess what happens when they die? They get turned into glue. You name me a superior race on this planet, it's turned into glue.
And I had a question. Who's Artosis?
What? Is that...
Can I answer that, JP?
Sure. Yes, you can.
All right. Listen. The second greatest English commentator in Korea. And now Artosis he's that moss that grows on the tree that lets you know where the sun is. You know, he's that.
Have you heard Total Biscuit commentate with Kelly Milkis?
No, I have not.
Would you like to hear what that sounds like? Red drone in right corner. Oh, it looked like they're going to be doing some kind of rush. And if you think that they're going to cure or prayer, maybe short game. And then Tobias like, fantastic, short games, shorts, summer weather. These are all things that bring the heat. Heat brings excitement. I'm happy, you're happy. Kelly, what do we have to expect?
That's the best story ever.
Jeff, you want to tell us?
Oh yeah, I remember. But he says, "Good game, Gori. I use special tactics. It's no problem." And we're all like, what? What is? Because White Raw only says "good game, GLHF." That's it. But he's like going on about this special tactics. And we're like, I remember me personally being like, White Raw, what is special tactics? He goes, oh, special tactics. You see, it's fine. And it's like, oh.
Many thanks to all the sponsors who have reached out with great gratitude and given all their care and their love. Many moons ago we have lost much, but we have gained many from Intel, Steel Series, Kingston, and Monster Energy Drink.
May 31st here on State of the Game. I'm JP, and it's replaying. Oh god, stop replaying the music. Okay, we've had quite the issues with XSplit, but it is a sad day here at State of the Game as we bid farewell to Jeff and Control Robinson. And let's go ahead and go through our guests. First off, we have Tyler, thugging it out or something. I don't know what.
Yo, I got a collar on, so respect.
He's thugging and showing her.
I also smell really good. I went and bought some Old Spice products, some body wash, and some deodorant.
Nice.
And so we got the videos, but we still don't have scents. So I'm just letting y'all know I smell nice.
Oh my god. Also, Tyler, since this is a drunk episode of State of the Game, what are you drinking?
It's a lot of vodka and Chambord, which is like a liqueur, a raspberry liqueur.
All right.
Good. A liqueur.
Well, let's move down the line.
A liquor.
You mixed your hard ale with a liqueur.
It's not a liqueur. A liqueur is like a more flavorful, less alcohol content.
Well,
that you mix in.
I just finished my bottle, so at some point in this, I'm going to go get another another bottle. But anyways, Jeff, what are you drinking tonight? And also, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you.
Huge shout out to
Oh, God, I
Alaska
just realized I
Distillery.
drank that straight. Anyways, sorry. Continue on.
Huge shout out to Alaska Distillery because originally they recognized that Tyler is a pimp, and I begged hard enough that I got myself sent a bottle as well. And it is amazing. And I'm just drinking permafrost vodka. So I'll tell you what, those guys are so cool that they sent us some stuff. You
That's
guys
good,
need to
man.
hop online and order a bottle.
Wow.
I agree.
They
Okay.
even sent me a nice letter that said, "Hey, good luck at MLG. We
Nice,
appreciate
man. Was it one of
Yeah.
those? Was it from Mel and Rose? Is that who sent it to you?
it." It was.
Yep.
It was.
We got velvet bags. Our liquor was
Ooh.
safely carried across America in velvet baggage. It was ridiculous. But huge shout out to Alaska Distillery. That's what I'm drinking, or was. It's actually gone. So, Idra, how's it going, man? What are you drinking?
Pretty good. Really bad vodka and mango juice that is so sweet that the vodka actually makes it better.
Nice.
Oh.
Nice. I think what you're trying to say is that you need some vodka from Alaska, right?
Yes,
You're like a
yes,
homeless
I do.
person.
I am for sale in terms of an alcohol sponsor.
Nice. Well, I'm sure
Aren't we all?
people
Someone
will
take-
reach out to you for that. Last but not least is Sean, Day 9 Plot. Not really sure if he's going to be joining us tonight, but he didn't make it. And wearing a blazer. So we've got Studley Sean, implying that he's not Studley or something when he's not wearing that. Sean, do you have anything to drink?
Yeah,
Water?
actually, I have a Hogarden.
What is a Hogard? I've never heard of
It's
one.
It's a fruity
Don't call it that.
oh, but I actually have something special to show off to everyone. You see this huge box? Well, here I'm gonna turn it up.
All right.
This is this is like a new computer. Look how huge it is. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna be plugging that bad boy in shortly. Actually, someone came down to help me set it up and make sure all the technical specs were working just nifty-tastic.
Very
And he
nice.
brought me also the gift of a Hogarden.
You actually look exactly like Nick right now, by the way.
Nice.
You guys see that?
Yeah,
I don't see it
someone
at
said it
all.
in the chat, and I definitely noticed it
does.
right afterwards.
It's his
Wow.
hair. Your hair.
My hair's like super frazzly today because I just like slept for a million years.
I'm tripping out right now. You need to stop it. You'll put a
And-
jinx on or something, man. You're killing me.
Oh yeah, that's right. This is a handsome nerd shirt. I forgot.
Is it?
Ah.
Oh yeah, that's the it's the command control. I'm wearing one as well. So we're handsome nerds, Sean. I guess that's the only thing I could say about that. Last but not least, we've got Leah B. Jackson, all the way from G4. Leah, what are you drinking and how's it going?
Bud Light. It's going good.
Did you spill?
No, I didn't spill. It made a bubble. But it's good.
All right.
No spillage.
Dude, Leah, you and I were both last but not least. I was so
I
cool.
know, I noticed.
That was awesome.
What, really?
You should introduce the first person and then everyone else is last but not least.
Should we redo the intros, Sean? Is that what you're getting at?
Wait, what?
Should we redo the intros? Should Tyler and Jeff and Ed also be last but not least?
I'm always first, and if everyone else is last but not least, then am I
You should be
least?
first but not least, and then everyone else should be last but not least.
I'm least, man.
I was onto something here.
I am. I
Least
figured
what,
you out,
though?
JP.
Could be
You
least.
Tyler actually, he's actually brought it up. He's like, JP, you got it. Why you always ask me first, bro? Why are you bringing me up first? What is this about?
He's most comfortable with you, Tyler.
Yeah, I think it's just the San Antonio. I feel closest to Tyler is what it is.
Yeah.
Because we're like 30
Very
minutes away from
close.
each other. Yep. Anyways, that was, I don't know how to get out of this without it being awkward, so I'll just take a sip. And in the meantime, Jeff, you actually have planned this show. I'm not sure if you have these show notes open, but why don't
No.
you start off with asking IdrA why he was ganged up on a stream by Root? Because you wanted to talk about this.
Well, I thought it'd be kind of an interesting topic because it's not even just IdrA; it's just kind of the headliner. But last night, Greg was just laddering. You know when Greg ladders, he sits down, he sits his kitten down, he kisses on the forehead, says, "I love you, Hobbs," and he's like, "I'm gonna play some StarCraft."
Actually,
And he positions his flower next to his computer just so.
I don't
and
have
he's
a flower,
like,
though.
It's like, man, this is such a
Talking
great
about
world.
Greg.
Everything is so nice. I am so happy. And then he's like, I'll just queue up some ladder games. And then dun dun dun, it's Root and it's Destiny. He comes in and he goes, "Oh, you stupid bitch!" And Idris just like, "Oh, I was just trying to play some StarCraft." And then the next game's Cats, and Cat's like, "LOL, we're stream sniping." And Greg was attacked all night long. And
I was harassed. I felt violated.
So I wanted to hear Greg's perspective on that because I texted him. I was like, "Hey, you want to talk on Skype so we can make fun of those guys?" He's like, "No, they're not worth it. They suck." Greg, how'd you do that night?
I beat all the Zergs, so I'm pretty good with that. Obviously, I lost to the Protoss, but what do you expect? But no, it's just like, my fans are kind of retarded. They like drama, so they got me more money by doing that. I'm fine with it. They're kind of obnoxious, but I can deal with that.
Yeah, I noticed Greg had 8,000 people on it, something like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
I just realized I started the show without capturing Greg's webcam, because we only have 5 spots, but... Anyways, you're on there now, Greg, so
There's just this sort of disembodied voice giving opinions.
Yeah, I do apologize for that.
Well, the topic at large, I guess, is like streaming, and I know Tyler, that's a big part for him. And I'd even like to hear Sean's perspective. Just his streaming experience is obviously different, but it's interesting because that seems to be, to me, that's like I was at the Team Liquid headquarters. My flight got canceled.
Mm-hmm.
And an interesting topic that came up is that it's kind of feast or famine right now. Like, you either have 3,000 people on your stream, or you have 200. But also, like, there's a lot of stream cheating and stream sniping going on, so I just thought it was kind of interesting to talk about streaming for a second, I guess.
Yeah, just in general, I mean, I stream games I don't care about. It's just a North American ladder. It's not really worth playing for practice. I'm just playing to stream. And if people want to stream snipe, meh, I don't really care about it.
Greg, or Jeff, do you fall victim to stream sniping a lot? Because I know you're a huge active streamer.
Yeah, actually, it's fine too if they're not cheating, but sometimes it's just a huge waste of time, in my opinion, when they like are literally they're double screen and they have their stream up.
Yeah.
Like I played Combat X on Shakir's Plateau. Every good story.
I played Combat X, and then everyone just laughs. Yeah.
It was what map was it? It was the desert one. What's it called? Backwater Gulch. And he sends his 6th probe directly to my natural, where he builds a pylon and 2 gates without seeing me. And then he proceeds to proxy gate me, and I looked at the replay and I was just like, have my ladder points. I don't care, but look at this. Like, look how terrible this is. And
yeah, I remember I was watching Spanishua play, and like he played against Combat X. I was like, "Oh, dude, you're playing Combat X. That guy's a hero." And then he just types, "Fuck you, Day 9." I think he might be watching your stream, man. So that was quite awesome.
He does it all the time. It's not even just him though; it's a lot of people. So it's kind of funny when I stream. I just like I detach my mind from winning. I'm just like, whatever. I'm just playing games.
Yeah, at least Combat's honest about it. A lot of players, like, he will tell you he is.
Yeah, everyone else tries to hide it, I feel.
Yeah.
I mean,
with him, it's kind of funny.
The funny part is I get stream sniped, and I was like in Diamond a week ago. Like, why would you stream snipe me? Like,
are you in Masters, though?
I am in Masters now. I played my one game after the ladder was fixed. Boom.
Nice.
Masters. But anyways, Tyler, what about you? Do you get
same as Artosis then?
Yeah, me and Artosis on the same level. Okay. That would be. I told Greg the other day that I will beat him to Grandmasters. I've swore to this oath. So
that might be the funniest day of my whole life.
We'll see,
my life will have a heart attack.
We'll see. We'll have to see what happens. Tyler, do you get stream sniped?
A couple times, but actually it's mostly been friends. So no really like malicious stream sniping, but like even then it's it's stream watching that's malicious. I don't even find sniping that malicious because I mean you're practicing.
I'm lumping them together, I guess, when I say that. Like I don't care if people stream play me, but it's when they're watching that it gets to be obnoxious.
Do you think with all these online tournaments that are coming out that more people are going to start stream sniping and not sniping but watching?
Yeah, I mean, Jeff, you actually
that's been happening since the beta. Like, I still don't understand how live streaming is actually the standard for tournaments.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, everyone's cheating.
Well, I mean, that's why...
people just kind of ignore it.
That's why, historically, Huck hated me for, what was it, 11 months? 9 months? Because I basically made him play in a tournament, and it was all... it was a show match that had no money up for it. I should
against Machine.
Yeah, against Machine. I should clarify that. But
Machine is pretty dirty.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. There he is. Look at Machine. Look at that guy. I wouldn't trust that guy. Would you trust that guy, Jeff?
Yeah, absolutely. He's too ugly to do anything mean.
Oh.
Aww.
Low blow. He can't even hear.
It's
this,
not a
man.
real comment. What are we doing?
God,
Come
Jeff, you're so mean. Look, Sean's hurt. You've offended Tyler as well. He didn't even
I have to go.
I think Huck was ahead of the curve on a certain extent. Like I wouldn't boycott a tournament as far as he does, but I think we definitely need to move towards delay or something because I would not be comfortable if there's money on the line. I'm not comfortable playing against somebody.
We kind of ran into this the other day, and you actually have this on the show notes that you prepared. The complexity tournament, up until the semifinals and grand finals, everything else was live, and we transitioned into using replays after that for the final two, and then of course the grand final that was between EG.IdrA and DD, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. But do you guys think replays work in terms of a tournament? I mean, I feel like that the sync issues alone can almost just ruin a tournament, to where it's not. Sometimes a caster will say something before or after it actually happens on whatever they're watching, and it's not fun to watch.
It's a terrible situation.
Yeah, well, I think that's less of an issue than the potential for like someone winning illegitimately.
Yeah.
I mean, but the problem is that observers don't care about that, Greg. Though I agree with you 100%. But people, by and large, will side with the fact that there's desync issues. They'll be like, "This is terrible. There needs to be replays." When the players come out and they're like, "Hey, I was playing for $3,000. There's no way in hell I trust my opponent to not watch the stream."
Yeah,
but we don't need to listen to the public. I mean, your organizers, they want a respectable tournament, and people are still going to watch.
I got a dose of reality for you, Greg. Tournaments want viewers more than they want. I mean,
yeah, but a significant percentage of people aren't going to stop watching because it is replays, especially if there's no.
I'm just telling you, man.
People will bitch about it, but they won't stop watching. They still want to see the games. They'll just complain. And
at least the popular belief is that if the public has an outcry, they will side with the public. They will not side with the players on an issue.
They shouldn't.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Jeff that. I mean, the thing is that the players bring in the crowds more so than anything else for a tournament, so it kind of goes hand in hand almost. Like, if you don't have the IDRAs, the selects, the whoever you want to name top 20 StarCraft 2 players, that people won't show up in the first place. So I think you have to either play a middle field, which I guess is replays.
In my opinion, you're using rationale though in an irrational situation.
That's true. That is very true.
To be honest with you, like when people complain about a tournament, they're not doing it from a rational perspective. They're doing it from a this is what I want right now.
Me. That's what they.
Yeah.
We had this issue. I mean, like the NASL dealt with that. They're like, why isn't it from replays?
Right.
Just do it from replays, and we did the worst cast in history from replays, and the computers were sitting right next to each other, and we couldn't sync it up.
Yeah.
Team Liquid has a wizard in Rich, so they were able to write a program that could make it fairly close. And even with that, there was times when Chill was 5 seconds ahead.
Yeah.
And it makes the tournament look bad.
I mean, does it fall on Blizzard then to make it to where you can watch synced replays? Is that where the ultimate answer is?
Well, certainly the end responsibility is them, but we can't really count on them at this point.
Yes.
So,
Replays with friends. I still, if I were able to troll someone into getting me a ticket to the Heart of the Swarm release, I would walk in with black, thick-rimmed glasses, a pen protector, and I'd be like, "Oh, hi, my name's Stephen Baldwin." And they'd be like, "Oh, hey, Stephen, how you doing?" I'm like, "I'm from the community." Anyways, why is there no replays with friends?
They asked about that at the Heart of the Storm event.
What did they say?
They just said that it's on their laundry list of 800 gazillion things that they have to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, they said that to every single question that anyone ever asked. They said, "Oh, it's on our list of things to do," but they don't have their priorities straight. It seems like at Blizzard.
Would have thrown my shoe at them.
Yeah.
I would have stuck a note in it that said, "You're a dumbass." You had it in BattleNet, written in 1997.
Well,
you had to remove it from BattleNet.
They had a lot of things in BattleNet that they didn't bring.
BattleNet 1 was objectively better in so many ways.
So
do you know the programming prowess it takes to write in /DND?
Sean, what about you? What are your opinions on all this? Where's the kind of the sweet spot for tournaments to exist right now in terms of how they broadcast the matches?
I think the burden rests on the broadcasting sites to be able to create some sort of delay implementation in there, and because that in my eyes is actually the best solution, because I personally love the excitement of knowing it's being played right now.
Right.
I mean, I will continue to watch tons of VODs like after the fact just because I like watching them, and it's always like, oh, that's great, but like my heart, I start to sweat. I'm just like, oh, I get like, and I'm like screaming in my room at like 4 in the morning and no one's awake, you know, like because it's so exciting. And if there was just like a 6-7 minute delay, that would be enough. It doesn't even need to be something like a 45-minute delay. I don't know why that word escaped me. I'll blame the jet lag still.
There you go.
But I mean, I agree with everyone that like replays with buddies should exist, just because like I want to, you know,
it's a huge part of Brood War.
Like that's always like really nice. And plus, I don't see anything stopping them from doing it. I want it. I don't know. Like, I mean, it's hard as hell to make a game. Like, I will say. And I have no idea how big their team is, but that's just like what I want.
Something tells me Blizzard has the money and time.
I think they could manage.
Hire 5 more guys.
But they're going to make it so it's like $5 more so that you can watch replays with friends the way that they're going.
You know what? At this point in time, have my money.
Yeah, even if they offered that, it's like all the professional casters would gladly play that.
If they want to dime me to death to watch replays with friends, I don't care, man. Like,
Slasher said that Justin.tv partners can set manual delays for any amount of time. So it's just that most podcasters choose not to, so they can talk to the chat.
Well, it's also fucking like super complicated apparently to set that up. I've never messed with it before, but I know some tournaments who have tried to deal with it, and apparently it's really hard to get working correctly. But I don't really know the ins and out of that. Sean, I do have a follow-up question. In terms of casting, at least whenever I cast, I could probably throw this at Jeff as well. When you're casting replays, are you really as committed or into it, so to speak, when it comes to that? I feel like it's really, really hard to kind of bring that excitement level that a lot of people are wanting when you're broadcasting.
I've actually personally never really felt that much of a difference for a cast of a replay. Yeah.
Jeff, what about you?
I'm the same, but what does affect me, because I'm always casting with a partner, is I'm tilted by wondering if I'm ahead or behind them. So in my casting, I'm like listening for cues if I'm ahead or behind. So I feel like my casting's lower quality. Like,
that's true.
Because there's some times because I'll always have the stream chat open when I'm casting replays specifically because I want to see that, and I'll be like, and the Phoenix are tearing everything apart, and then everyone's like, LOL, he's like 5 seconds ahead. I'm like, oh.
And the worst part about that is when you hit like you speed up the replay and then you get too far ahead, and then they get like he's saying something that's not even happened. That happened to me the other day ago, I think, in the complexity tournament.
I think that's more annoying when you're ahead.
And the people are mean about it too. It's funny. In the chat, they don't like. They blame you.
Right,
the computer runs ahead and they're like, JP's such an idiot. It's like 10 seconds in the future. Listen to this asshole.
What an asshole.
Why is this guy spoiling everything for us?
Hot doorknobs. Listen to him. Doesn't even know how a game works. Does he have plus or minuses on the computer? Does he have a keyboard? And it's just like...
Like 3 comments later, someone's like, I hate his casting. He's terrible. He's just a horrible caster.
That's usually there beforehand. What is... Oh, so yeah, Fishsticks from JTV is actually linking me the delay server that they have for Justin TV. So technology is there.
I know Justin TV has it, but I actually don't. I can't speak for like Livestream or Ustream or any of the other folks out there. But like, I mean, even people using their proprietary stuff. I think that should that's increasingly, at least for the gaming community, becoming like one of those really desired technologies to be able to just drag a little scroller and hit go and have it just work really, really, really nicely.
I just realized that opening that Skype message from Fishsticks has doomed everyone's webcam to be frozen in this exact moment. And it will not change except for myself. So Sean, you're kind of doing a pondering thing right now. Leah, you're about to start smiling. Noni just looks like he's really, really pissed off. Greg's not even sitting down, and Jeff just looks like he's thinking about something. So
his webcam looks amazing, though. Tyler is so vivid, I feel like I could touch him.
Yeah.
Well,
smell his awesome body wash.
That's how it's going to remain, really, for the rest of the cast. Oh, well. Well, no. Actually, Greg just sat down. Looks like it's going to get 30 or 40-second clips, but I don't have any control over that. Thanks.
Nice.
You could thank Fish. Look
at Sean now.
Sean's like pulling off his hair or something.
Wait, What, just,
all the
is it just
webcams
showing
are-
like stills of...
Yeah, all the webcams except mine are going to be frozen for the rest of the cast.
Oh, okay.
It's just how it is. Anyways, Jeff, the next thing you had lined up is the GSL, as you call it, the Super Duper Tourney.
Super duper tourney.
And you want to talk about Huck and Jinro. Huck obviously making it through. Jinro losing 0-2 to the Zerg player whose name I forget. Do you happen to remember that? Yeah, Line.
Line. I do love the cool one-syllable names like Reach, or the one-word names like July or Boxer, but it's like Line. It just doesn't have the same
How
toughness.
exciting.
I know. Bench. Feet.
They name themselves after everything, man.
Man, people. SC named himself SC, man. That's bad.
Line is actually like an epic word in Korean, and he just tried to translate, and it was like he didn't realize.
Lift.
So who watched Huck's games with Son?
I did.
I watched the first two.
Well, Tyler, we haven't talked to you in a while. As you're sipping from a straw. Wait, hold on. A straw, Tyler?
That's what I said earlier.
A straw.
Hey man, if you gotta get your drink on, it's gotta be convenient.
Don't want to lift that cup too high.
Oh.
I guess. Tell me what you thought about Huck and Son. Straw drinker.
Oh, just a typical PvP, not especially impressive for me personally. Just a lot of mind games still going on. People have opportunities to out micro in certain situations, and so I mean it's somewhat exciting, but nothing really new. So, Son, reputation for being bad at PvP. Huck, self-proclaimed bad at PvP.
And, in the world.
Their percentages were lined
top
up. It's
three
pretty funny to
control
look at.
Yeah.
It was like 25% versus 28%.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very happy that Huck made it through to the next round, but not the most exciting match for me.
Sean, I think you said you watched them. What were your thoughts? Sean? Sean,
no, he's muted.
You're muted. I see him talking.
Hello.
Hello, Sean. Hello. You're still ripping off your toupee right now on my website.
Yeah, I'm just, doing the rearrangement. That was, like, really good because I was really into what I was saying, too. That's like when I remember I did 45 minutes of a daily before I realized that I hadn't been connected to the internet the whole time. Right? But that was also a good day because I realized that I was extremely entertaining to myself. But, I mean, honestly, the games were kind of doofy, but they were awesome insofar as Huck won. Yeah! So I'm always really, really excited about that. So
Let's add Anna, too. Just
Yay.
Wait, what? You want to add... Oh, the webcam's already fucked up. I'm not going to be able to add her, though, because my Skype is literally frozen. So... Not sure. I guess I could just restart Skype, and I'll entertain people for...
Oh, shit. And added Aaron Levine, too. Don't add him.
yes, I thought I was like,
He's a great guy, but he doesn't need to be...
Here. I'll be right back. In the meantime, I'm just going to restart Skype. And oh, God. What is going on with Skype right now?
Oh, God.
Wait, who? Okay, Aaron
There's
Levine.
4.
That actually worked, whatever just happened.
Doesn't look like it worked.
Well, it freed up everything on my end. It just fucked up all the webcams, so...
That's fine. They already messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Except
now we
everyone-
can see moving portions of our heads.
Yeah, we'll
instead
just
of
have
those
moving
holes.
portions.
I'm
We'll
looking
see.
up at Noni.
It'll be
Hi,
like
Noni.
it'll be the Brady Bunch, but like
Yeah,
fucked
it's like
up.
the Brady Bunch.
Dude, Anna won't even answer. What's up with this? Call failed. Jeff, I'm removing her. She's getting booted.
Hang on.
Oh, look at those. The webcams are so perfect and working.
I don't think I'm even on... like, we have the posters above my head.
Yeah.
By the way, this is like a 7-hour episode. It's totally fine. Forgot to write that in the notes.
Oh, yeah. That's true. So we adding Anna? Is that what you're working on, Jeff?
Yeah, I just added her.
Okay. Add people. Have like the entire list.
Is this live right now, or are we just trying to rebuild the call?
Oh, this is live, Sean. This is
Nice.
live.
This is-
Sean, there's
Jeff's going away. We're gonna miss him so much. I'll throw a party. Wait, can we invite him? Should we drop? Okay, hold on. My webcam, it's frozen. Okay, well, should I just rebuild it?
That's what happens, man.
It wouldn't be a state of the game without these issues.
It wouldn't be a state of the game without these issues, and it wouldn't be Skype. Anna, how's it going?
Anna.
Hey, dude.
Hey, dude.
Hey, dude.
Dudes.
Did.
Oh, we can't talk to her. I'll actually... Here, I'll
need to
work
behave. We're talking StarCraft.
I'll work on rearranging everyone's webcams. In the meantime, Jeff, you have to take reins for the show.
Super tournament. So I was going to talk about, did anyone catch a... Well, okay, there's a story. I'll be the slasher for State of the Game.
Awesome.
Oh.
We gotta grow some hair real quick.
Jinro, losing in the first round again.
Yeah.
He played pretty shit, too, for how good he is.
From the mouth of babes. Tyler?
Defend your teammate.
Every time someone from Liquid loses, you have to explain. So.
It's your responsibility.
Well, he felt bad how much Sweden was dominating the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So, I had to give one up, because he's that nice.
That's really nice of him, actually.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I think sometimes he's got limitations. So, I mean, I think every time we see him lose, you see one of his limitations. And every time we see him win, we see something brilliant. And, yeah, he just didn't bring it.
When was the last time he won?
I don't know.
It's like against me in the round of 8 before I left.
Ouch. Ouch.
I don't mean that to be mean. I'm just saying, like, it's an interesting storyline when a player as good as he was. I mean, he went, top 4 twice in GSL, right?
In a row.
Mm-hmm.
And now he doesn't win anything. He's, like, literally, like, no one wants to talk about this because he's such a nice guy, and I'm one of the people that says he's one of the nicest guy. I'll say that. He is.
Seems super nice.
But he's not winning anything. You have to understand he's losing absolutely everything in the first round of everything he joins.
Honestly, it got really inflated. What happened was he switched to a macro-style Terran before everyone else. Like, that's why he had little success when he first moved to Korea. He was playing macro Terran when no one else was, and he was trying to figure it out, and it was really hard to do. And then as all of the timings and all this stuff started to get figured out, he and everyone else switched to macro Terran, he kind of had a head start on everyone because he had been doing it for the last few months. And so then he had those 2 really good runs off of that. He had just had more experience with what became the current meta game. And now everyone else is caught up with that, and he's just kind of falling off a little.
Anna, what are your thoughts in general?
Actually, I mean, my thoughts would just kind of mirror yours. It sounds cliche, but he is a really, really nice guy, so I hate to say it. But yeah, I haven't seen him performing very well, unfortunately. Yay!
Nobody wants to touch on the subject because he's so nice.
I know,
look
he
at
was like
Sean
the most fun
smugly
to
sitting there in
interview.
silence. I see your look, Sean. I see your face.
You know, my lips are also really dry, so we're doing a lot of this in the show, so it'll be pretty important to highlight. Watch for that. But, like, the one thing that I've always noticed about Jinro is that he always comes really prepared with, like a very interesting timing. You kind of watch, you're like, ooh, I didn't know you could do that. Like, he's very, very good at, like, getting really well-practiced things out. I specifically remember his game on Belshare Beach, that has, like, a bunch of apostrophes in it, where you get to see creep underwater for the first time ever. He did, like, this really clever Marine with no stim tank with siege push, which is really unusual. You almost always wait for stim or combat shield, but even then combat shield's, like, really uncommon first. It's just, like, always a stim tank push. And he, like, pushes early and actually picks off the third before it goes down. But Jinro, when I've seen him lose, it's been to one of those, like, total unpreparedness situations for something. Which generally I feel like happens when you're practicing against, like, a limited set of certain styles. Like, it was really interesting to see that Zerg player go straight for Mutalisks, skipping Banelings entirely, skipping Roaches, like, just Speedlings straight into Muta consistently. So, you know, again, very cool timing by Jinro being able to pick off that hatch, but then, like, the Mutalisk went into his base, and Jinro literally had no answer. It was Marines without stim and no turrets. I believe that's correct. Can someone, like, double check me on that? I want to say that that's accurate. I know he didn't have combat shield and no turrets, but I was pretty sure he didn't even have stim yet either then. So, I mean, part of me has faith that Jinro will sort of, like, pull back and, you know, he can succeed well, but there's always, like, some sort of interesting component to Jinro's style that that he's, like, trying to work on. I feel like there's a lot of...
First game? Are you still talking about the first game?
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, he it seemed like just his whole build order got so fucked because he lost his reactor really fast, too. So he's probably going for something, and he did. I don't know, it just didn't seem like he could react to it.
I missed the start of the game. I missed, like, the first 5 minutes.
The start of the game, he had a reactor, and he just lost it so quickly.
You're talking about the Belshire Beach game?
Yeah.
Yeah, so on Belshire Beach, when you spawn in the top left-hand corner or whatever, there's a reactor or whenever you put on your tech level racks, it sticks out. Jeff, what are you laughing about?
What EG said?
What?
Oh,
no,
okay.
Nothing at all. Everything is serious.
We're improvising again.
Sorry. Anyways, so yeah, the reactor sticks out. There's really no way you can get to it because it's 4 or 5 hexes away from the supply depot. So it just died to like 6 lings, and then Lion just sent his links back.
Ugh.
Right at the beginning too, which is like one of the first things, and you know, you're so into it at the very beginning, and then I don't know, it just seemed like after that it was all downhill in that game.
Yep.
The tough thing for Jinro too, though, in his defense, is that like because he experienced so much success out of nowhere, like Jinro went from a player who people like had no expectation for to a guy who was finishing in the top half of every of these GSL tournaments. Where now when he loses against legitimately good players, people are like, "Wow, what's wrong with him? He's like really bad now. What's going on?" So he's kind of a victim of his own success, I guess a way to put that. It's kind of interesting to see.
I also want to like continue to touch on like that sort of stylistic thing that like there's a lot of players who will just play really incredibly straight up. Like will only make Marines and tanks and medevacs the whole game long and that's it, period. And will play like the most rote standard straight up way. But I don't know if I've ever really seen Jinro do that straight up in any game. There's always some little cute thing he does in every single game.
Like Thor's.
Is that? Well, Thor's are awesome. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I mean,
I almost kind of feel that he wasn't able to play his game in those 2 matches that we saw.
Because I mean, like in his games against MC, when he beat MC twice, like those were weird games. Those were like him going mass mech in proxy positions on Temple, which granted, it's like really straightforward for the meching player because your tanks siege up and they can just hit his main base from your natural. It's really easy, but I mean, still, you see that mech and you're like, ooh, that's really weird. And then the next game goes like Thor, Hellion, Viking with the 250mm cannon and beats MC. And again, it's like something that's like so weird. What?
That was MC's fault. That was the fast carrier game. He like went 2-base carrier and Jinro just responded to it really well.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Jin responded to it well, but also had this sort of mech-style opening, which, again, was something, like, a little unusual. And I'd still ask the same question, like, does not IdrA, you're IdrA, you do play Shayna. Does Jinro, like, ever just do, like, pure, I'm going to make these units straight up? Because I definitely have always felt that anytime I try to do, like, standard with a twist, it either works brilliantly and I look amazing, or I just kind of get...
I think that actually might be. I think that might actually be like a side effect of the fact that he prepares so much for his GSL games and stuff. He actually works really hard at it. And he always tries to come up with something interesting, special, and unique. And he does. And then that situation you were talking about happens. Either it works or it doesn't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, consistency takes really good mechanics, and I think he has good mechanics when the game is going his way. But when the game is not going his way, he's very strategy dependent. So someone who's going to always be doing pretty well and not be streaky that's a player who has good mechanics, that even if they've been out-thunk strategically, they're going to make up for it. They're going to make up for it with mechanics because they're just going to do everything better. And then they're going to beat, they'll at least get a round into a tournament here and there. Maybe not win. Well, definitely not win because everything has to come together to win.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's really a mechanical player, and that's what it takes to be consistent on the top all the time.
So, Tyler, here's a question I posed to you. We've only got 2 remaining foreigners in Korea, and they are both Huck and Jinro. With Jinro out of this tournament, Huck continuing to advance on. I think the best placing for them is round of 8, correct, for Jinro?
Jinro was round of 4 twice.
Round of 4 twice. So, do you think that they are going to continue to stay in Korea, and with all these other tournaments going on, MLGs, all the European Cups that are going on that has a huge amount of money, is it worth it for them to stay in Korea, or should they kind of come back? In your own opinion, should they come back over to the States, or, in Jinro's case, go back to Sweden and start winning some of those other cups?
I think they would both benefit from leaving Korea, but at the same time, people need to do what they want to do, because you got to keep yourself happy, you got to keep yourself interested in the game. And if, like, for example, Jinro, definitely, he wants to be in Korea, he wants to keep competing in Korea, and there's kind of a tension between, do you do what's objectively best for your career, or do you do the things that you want to do? And number one priority is like keeping your passion alive and making decisions, being the kind of programmer that you want to be. And so it's hard for me to say that he really would be better off moving to Europe, because it takes a certain mindset, and I don't know if his mindset is compatible with that. So I'd say I think Huck could thrive anywhere, but I think Jinro really, really loves Korea, and he's gonna stay in Korea for a while and keep trying. But if he was just really flexible with his mindset and able to just do anything, then yeah, I think objectively moving to Europe or moving to the U.S. is a better situation.
Jeff, you got any thoughts on that?
No, just like listening.
Greg, you moved out of Korea. Do you still think your decision was the right one? And do you think that Huck and Jinro staying are...
Come back to me.
What is that? I throw it again, you're just like, alright, come back to me.
Yeah, for purely practical reasons. The dog is stealing my spotlight.
Sorry, she
That's
won't
what happens
stop.
when animals are in this situation.
Poa the pooper.
For purely practical reasons, yeah, certainly. It's much easier to make money outside Korea. There's a lot more money to be had, and it's easier to market yourself in like non-competitive ways, doing all the casting and more promotional stuff. I can see someone like Jinro, obviously, he wants to be in Korea. He appreciates that side of things. He was a kind of a StarCraft fan/player for a long time, and Korea is the mecca of StarCraft 1. So I can understand his motivations for wanting to be out there. But yeah, purely practical reasons, I definitely think it's better to be outside of Korea right now.
Jeff, I'm coming back to you.
It's a convoluted situation, because on the one hand, under the right circumstances, Korea doesn't represent any unique advantage, in my opinion, especially against the weight of the costs. Like, if you have a situation where you're living amongst and with other top non-Koreans that you can utilize for training, so like a Root Pro Gaming House, perhaps an EG one, then I think the practicality of Korea, or the lack thereof actually, means that you just never look there. Because it's certainly, I think what's interesting is we should exit from the conversation of, is the GSL worth it? Because the answer should be a resounding no. Right now, between IPL, NASL, MLG, DreamHack, and the plethora of tournaments that surround that, it makes most sense not to be in a place like Korea, where flights are infinitely more expensive, and training for those atmospheres are foreign. So I think it's interesting to talk about just the practicality of Korea and the training situation that you find there, because I think it's becoming more obsolete. So when I see, look at Team Liquid. They bought a house. They teamed up with OGS. They started off with like 4 or 5 players there. They're now down to 2, and I'm not faulting them for it. I don't think it's a bad move at all. They were definitely ahead of the curve. But I think the direction the scene is moving is evacuating players from that situation and focusing more on the Western side of things.
Sean, I'm going to put you in the hot seat. You recently stated that you wanted to come back to play. Community responded by saying you're coming back to playing competitively. If you were a full-on pro player, you had no obligations to cast, no day 9 dailies or anything like that, would you live in Korea?
It's hard to envision.
Would you stay in North America? Would you go to Europe? Where would your really prime spot right now as a pro player be if you were a full-on pro player?
I would almost certainly stay in the United States, but the reason has to do more with what I know about myself personally, more so than the tournament scene. Like, for instance, I went to Seoul, and Seoul is amazing. If you have never been to Seoul, you must go there before you die. It is, like, insanely cool. But at the same time, I mean, despite the fact that I'm a very sort of talkative, enthusiastic person, I really like my quiet time. What people don't see is the fact that I spend most of my time by myself quietly, right? So a place like Seoul is very great and stimulating, but I think it would be a little too much for me. I kind of like the way that my lifestyle works right now. And plus, I really don't like being in a place where I can't be really talkative with a lot of people around me. I would really have to learn Korean first, and I'm lazy and I don't want to learn another language. So I personally would stay in the States, also because I have a really strong work ethic without needing any structure or any motivation to do so. I think that is honestly one of the best parts about a pro house, is that you wake up and everyone around you is playing StarCraft, and everyone around you is talking about StarCraft. But for me, I can wake up and, be very active about contacting people to talk, to arrange my own practice sessions, to training on my own schedule. And with all that, yeah, I mean, in addition to that, yeah, there's also a very vibrant tournament scene in, outside of Korea. Actually, the tournament scene, like everyone said, is probably going to be better. I think GSL is an amazing tournament, but it really, as far as I know, is like the only really big tournament running.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really nice opportunity to be able to play in a lot of smaller tournaments that might even have something as small as like a $100 or $200 prize pool. But just be able to, like, play well, pick that up, and continue to train for another tournament that might have a bigger prize pool, because really I don't think any tournament players make their living off tournament winnings. It's generally like funded from sponsorships or from their team or from some other source. So I would probably end up staying outside of Korea, but I would definitely visit Seoul a couple more times because the place is awesome.
Jeff, one thing that you didn't throw in here is announcement just hit I think it was 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago. FXO is going to be in the next team league.
Oh, wow. That's right.
And I wanted to get your opinions. I mean, the community's response, it seems like, was that why are they wasting their time, I think is how the community responded to that. So as pro players, I want to get your thoughts on how you think they're going to do it, and if you think this is a profitable venture for them, so to speak, I guess. Jeff?
Well, it's interesting. I think there's two ways to look at this. On the one hand, well, a couple ways to look at it, I guess, several. On the one hand, it's a tremendous opportunity. FXO is a team that was mostly on the map for their announcements. And, they talked about doing a league in Malaysia. They've shown pictures of this pro gaming house, but what have we seen from any of that? So far, it's been nothing, right? They got picked up by a Porsche sports car that had like a Team Liquid decal on it randomly, and since then, what? None of the players live there. They've just visited. So it's kind of a weird situation that way. It seems like very much so publicity and no results. And of course, it takes time to do things. So it's not to say it's a failure just yet. And then on the other hand, they're going to this tournament in GSTL where the best Korean teams in the world are competing. And FXO is not topping anyone's list as the best foreigner team. There's maybe 2 Australians on the planet that have convinced themselves in a drunken stupor that FXO is the best team on the planet outside of Korea. So it's very obvious that their chances of winning the tournament or being extremely successful are slim to nil. So it's more like it's a cool opportunity to surprise a lot of people, but I feel like it has the risk of backfiring in confirming a lot of people's stereotype for FXO, which is that they're kind of a blah team. And I know that seems really harsh, and I hope I'm not coming off as a hater, but what I'm trying to say is, like, they're an ambitious team. They've made some big announcements. We're kind of waiting for it to be capitalized, and in the meantime, they're heading off to compete in the most prestigious team league, where I'd rather see a Team Liquid, a Mouse, an EG or something like that. So
Yeah.
I'd be really interested to hear your guys' thoughts, but that's kind of my read on it right now.
Yeah, I want to throw it at Greg because he always gives a no-fluff answer, I guess is how I'll phrase that. How do you think FXO is going to do over there in some of the team leagues, Greg?
They're going to lose pretty badly. I agree with Jeff. It's kind of an industry publicity thing, and it's cool that they're giving their players this chance. I mean, Chef and Slog are really good friends of mine, and a lot of them are really cool people. I hope they do well, but they're not on that level. It's not even a top-tier foreign team, and the Koreans are better. Yeah. I don't really see it working out very well for them.
You think this is kind of a step in the right direction, getting more foreigners involved, which I really think is what GSL was aiming to do with this?
Well, I think the danger is a step in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
How so?
FXO is not going to be the best representation of a foreigner team.
Right.
If they go over there and get all killed every match they play, it just reinforces the whole foreigner suck thing. And I mean, the Koreans are better, but foreigners don't suck. You put the best foreigners together and put them in a team over there, they can certainly compete. But FXO isn't that.
Imagine like a Dignitas, Naniwa, Show, Select. Imagine a Mao's team, Thor, Zane, Mana, some of these really good players.
So, do you think that the best representation would be to kind of assemble the top 8, top 12, whatever number you want to kind of figure out, foreigner, and then send those people over there to go against Team Korea, kind of like what GSL's already done?
That would be cool, too. It's obviously an opportunity issue. Like, what team has the bankroll to send their players to Korea and then house them for a month?
Yeah.
And it's not like they can just lug their computer like, that's carry on, I mean, obviously, it's a huge ordeal. So it's not like we can fault FXO. They were given this opportunity. They have the money to do it. It's just, I think, opportunistically, it's kind of a shame because I don't think we're putting our best foot forward.
Do you think that how MLG is doing it is better, having those 4 players come over rather than having, the 12 or 10 best of us go over there? Do you think how MLG is doing it with this GSL partnership thing is the way to go to kind of get the Koreans playing with us and then us playing with the Koreans?
I mean, I think the bigger question is how do we get to Korea? Like, I think less people are concerned with bringing Koreans to us because the conception right now is that it's their money to come win. So
do you even think that's important anymore to have to be bonding with those? I mean, is it important for the scene anymore, or is it moving in a different direction completely now with StarCraft 2?
In terms of tournaments, like I don't fault MLG at all because when they host a tournament, the fans, 99% of them, or let's say 85, want to see Koreans competing with it because the stigma is that Koreans are the best.
Right.
So until you have Koreans in your tournament, it's not a legitimate tournament. It's just a tournament without Koreans.
It'll always be fighting for the best foreigner instead of the best player.
Well, that's why Jinro wants to be in Korea too, because I think for him, being a pro gamer is about competing with the best people you possibly can and just doing your best. Mm-hmm. And as long as he can get by, he's not looking to make a fortune off pro gaming. As long as he has a place to live and he can practice all day, then that's what pro gaming is to him, is competing with the best. But JP, I'm gonna have to call you out a little bit.
Call me
when
out.
you introduce this topic.
Bring it.
Get him.
Bring it, bitch.
I think you mischaracterized the community a little bit, man. You're always so negative. Like the community's response to this announcement, I don't think was as negative as you want to paint it out to be. I think a lot of people are excited.
I think it's that the negative comments speak the loudest to me, and I got to be honest, I didn't read that much of how the community was responding. I mean, obviously, the community's going to say, like, this is a great thing. GSL and FXO definitely working together is the best possible thing. But how interesting is that to talk about in the sense that, oh, yeah, they're going to go over there and do great? Like,
they're not.
Well, that goes for the other way, too. Of course, people are pissed off about it. People like being pissed off.
Yeah. People, like, are too dramatic about it. Like, this is the foreigner test to stand up.
Yeah, I don't think it's that. I think it's a stepping stone to getting more and more teams over there to Korea for the GSTL.
I don't really see that.
But
GSL is desperate enough to have foreigners that they'll take any team that applies, and it's just a matter of who has the money and the interest in Korea.
Well,
I was very sad when they had a fully intact Team Liquid over there that they didn't
do some loophole to invite them. Like, give them
that's
like,
the next
all
thing.
they'd have to do is make a freaking announcement. It's like a special foreigner invite. Team Liquid.
Well, I read, and I don't know if this is confirmed or not, Tyler, but I heard that Jinro and Huck are going to be participating as OGS, or with OGS in the next Team League. Is that
Well,
confirmed?
they have this free agent rule now where any like foreigner that wants to participate in the GSTL can just join any team, basically. As long as you're not Korean, I think, is the rule. You can be like free agent, just hop on any team. And because of the loyalty between OGS and TL, Jinro and Huck, naturally, they're only going to be free agents for OGS. But yeah, they desperately want foreigners participating in their events.
Right. I mean, they've kind of conquered it, Korea as much as they can. So definitely.
I'll tell you what, though, they
travelers
desperately want
in us.
foreigners, but their spokespersons are idiots. the
so?
commentator who made that post or whatever on FOMOS or whatever it was came out and basically said, I think non-Koreans are scared of losing to Koreans, and Koreans would go to USA if there was a major tournament there and live there for if the scenes were reversed. He got it wrong, man. It's not that simple at all. Non-Koreans would race to get their asses beat if they could afford it. They would race to get there.
That was actually really weird. That was by Mr. Che, right?
Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah.
That guy's actually like really cool and smart and stuff. I didn't read that article, but that sounds retarded and it's not like him.
It's the Korean pride. It's the Korean pride shining through.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you
that's
think
the
it's
belief.
that, or do you think it's them trying to get more foreigners kind of interested in going?
No,
you don't think they were playing that angle?
Koreans, like, literally to a core, and it sucks to say Koreans because obviously on some level I'm being racist or whatever, but I'm going to be pretty blunt. As a country, as a society, when they view StarCraft, the assumption is anytime a Korean loses to a non-Korean, it's a travesty. It's a mistake. It's like they're playing an unrefined version. It's terrible. I shouldn't have lost to them. So when they look at non-Koreans as a whole, they're not honored to do battle with us. They want our market. They want us to be a part of their company or their market to bring them more money. So when they're upset that like non-Koreans care less and less about the Korean scene, which isn't doing as well, it's because they want to jump to the conclusion like, well, you're cowards. You're afraid to lose to us. No, it's because Seoul is one of the most expensive cities in the entire planet to live in, and your country is about 4,000 miles away from every other major esports scene, right? Except for China, I guess.
And it's an ongoing tournament that makes it really difficult to play in anything else.
Right.
Change to Courage. Change Code A to Courage, man. I literally just solved GSL for you.
Yeah.
3-day tournament. Same prize pool. No cost. In fact, it's less cost because there's less broadcasting. Easy.
And no one really watches Code 8 anyway. I'm sure amongst foreigners it's a lot lower, and I can't imagine amongst Koreans.
I do, because every time the Code S finals are coming up, I say, thank God there's a Code A finals to keep me entertained.
Doe and Moletrap literally have hundreds of fans.
Ouch.
I mean, like, I actually have no idea. Like, is that true that like not that many people watch Code A? Because like I pretty much watched GSL.
I feel like it's
Code A
less just because of how TL responds to those thread, but that seems kind of like a small.
I know. I mean,
test
I
subject
personally didn't view them as different at all, with the exception of as the rounds would get later, I'd actually get more excited about Code A purely because the finals, weirdly enough, were always way better than the Code S
Has there
finals.
been a bad Code A finals? I don't
Not
think
that I've watched.
They've been better than Code S.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
Anything
I mean,
is better than Code S finals. Come on.
that's kind of my comparison.
Yeah, I went to go cook a Hot Pocket when I came back. Yeah, I guess I won't cook a Hot Pocket next Code S final.
I feel bad for GSL. Code S finals have been, oh my god.
They haven't really
So
been
bad.
That's for sure.
It reminds me of the frickin' Ravens versus the Giants from like 2000 or whatever. I host the Super Bowl party and it's like the worst game I've ever seen. And it's like, all right, well, there's 2 quarters to go and the team's down by 30. What do we do? Eat the rest of the nachos, I guess? Like, good God.
It's funny because you're talking about football to nerds. They don't even know where the Ravens are from, or the Giants, probably.
I know. I was like, what race can build
I know
giants?
what you're talking about.
It's funny reading the chat during any of these comments.
Oh, yeah.
People like literally tune in to get mad.
Yep.
I can't believe he just said that, but I'm going to tune in next week because I can't wait till he does.
See you say something else that pisses them off.
Oh God, I'm so upset. I haven't felt this kind of emotion since my boss told me to get that DPS report out faster. Oh shit!
You're like emo for nerds.
A damage per second report.
Yes, the dicks per second report.
Whoa.
Oh,
that's what's up. Said the D word.
Whoa.
The dudes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the ratio of the word kitchen has gone up since I joined the chat.
Oh, no, it's been up.
Leah took care
Poor
of that.
Leah. Leah's involved in esports. I feel like she has the thinnest skin for this stuff.
I haven't read the chat, but people are like, don't read the chat. They're saying this, this, and this, and this. I'm like, fuck, well, I'm not trying to.
Leah, 2 years from now at the Legacy of the Void release party brings an Uzi and
2
shoots
years?
like 46 people.
Dude, come on, that's kind of generous, Jeff.
Yeah, that's really
awesome.
generous speaking.
I'm sorry, 12 years from now.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, now we're talking.
Leah gats down like 30 people and leaves behind a note saying,
You
"Put
shouldn't
me in the
have said
kitchen
that
now,
about me.
bitches."
Let's go ahead and move on.
No.
Jeff, you had the complexity tournament coming up next, and I think to read verbatim from what the show notes said, it says finals equal DDE wins ? And I think this was to throw to IdrA, correct?
Greg is a gold. See, I know the direction State of the Game needs to go, and it's just to get Greg quotations out there.
Yeah. Greg,
sell them on eBay. Guess what Greg said? It'll cost you $1.
Greg, you can't blame Protoss. What happened, man?
What happened?
Zerg is still bad, even if it's not very
Damn it.
No, he just does fast expand into various all-ins. Like, the first game is fast expand into that tank elevator thingy, and the next game is fast expand into 5
On
racks.
Shakuris. He's talking about on Shakuris.
Tank and medevac, we lift up through the ridge, build turrets and bunkers and shit.
It's kind of like using the ramp that's not
Did
there
you like not
anymore.
even watch the games?
No, of course not.
Oh, okay.
It was on Shakuris. They spawned
No, he
on the
rushes
bottom,
tanks
yeah.
and medevacs and brings SCVs and Marines, and he builds tanks or turrets and bunkers and lifts
Yeah.
up on my ledge on Shakuris with his close air positions. Next game is fast expand into 5 racks Marine Marauder, and then is fast expand into 3 tank plus as many Marines as you can have with stim all in. It's just fast expand in some various like rush every game. And
Did he fast expanded every game that series except for the Metalopolis series, right? One
Well,
max fast expand?
fast expand into an all in, yeah.
He didn't
Greg,
have to fast
as a pro gamer, then, let's ask this question. Have you been solved, or is there an answer for this? Do you go to the drawing boards and come
Of course,
away
it's
with, like...
solved. It's a coin flip every game. It's just like I guess which build he's doing, and then if I guess right, I win easy, and if I guess wrong, I lose easy.
I'm trying to feed you a line so that people don't just all in against you at MLG and you lose again, dude. I'm trying to...
Well, no, that's not how it works. People all in, and I'll either win or lose depending on which way the coin flips.
Oh, sweet.
That's how it's always been.
So,
You know what,
So my
Greg?
follow-up to that is...
To quote
Well, go
Batman,
ahead, Sean.
I create my own destiny. I create my own destiny.
I can't do that because I play Zerg.
Create my own destiny, Greg.
I wish I could.
Greg, the destiny that I create, it's my own. So.
All right, Destiny, calm it down over there. You're already racist enough.
That's the meanest thing you've ever said.
Batman.
That's the meanest thing you've ever said.
Double-edged joke right there.
Say it.
Greg, my follow-up to that is, in the series that DDE had against Destiny, he got Infestors out much, much earlier than you. You seem to kind of sit on these mutas till you get around 25, maybe 30, and then actually transition into the Infestor Broodlord type play that you did. Do you feel like you should have gotten him out a little bit earlier? Because DDE never got Ghost in the game that you won on Tal'Darim.
Destiny lost to him, too.
Yeah, but he actually used Ghost in all those series, is my rebuttal to that.
He made Ghost because Destiny rushed to Infestors.
So he was, in the games against you, he was playing...
Greg's trying to tell you that it's impossible to win when the coin flips heads. Or so.
Destiny lost, too.
Are you
No,
comparing
I'm
yourself to
not
Destiny
saying...
almost won, though.
I'm not saying
Didn't he?
Destiny... I'm not comparing Destiny and you
Well, it's like
whatsoever.
you're
I'm
telling me to
comparing-
play this way in a style that also lost to him. It's no more robust than what I did.
Do you think
No,
you could play it better than Destiny did, Greg? And the answer, by the way, it's facetious. I need you to answer differently on this one. Do you think you could play it better than Destiny did? Greg?
Fast Infestor is okay. Fast Muta is better. They both have weaknesses. Infestors are okay at defending, but if they recognize you're doing it, they can just expand. Infestors have no offensive potential.
Jeff, you seem like you want to respond to this. Or just kind of sit there in your sorrow for a second.
Another Batman quote. Do it.
All right, hang on. We needed a man to hate.
I'm not the hero you deserve.
Yes.
Oh man.
Oh shit! Greg's on point already.
Greg. You'll be so much. Listen, I've had this debate. I'll tell you. Here's a scenario. I'm sitting at a Dave & Buster's, drunk off my ass, surrounded by a bunch of people that love StarCraft, and they go, "Hey Jeff, why is Greg doing better?" And I said, "Let me answer that for you. What did Greg used to do? Greg used to exist by a rule of like 3. He's like, this is what you have to do in this matchup, and if you don't do that, you lose." Greg, several months later, after losing a bunch of stuff, realizes, oh my god, you have to take risks. You have to take risks to win in StarCraft. Greg starts winning tournaments like IPL. Greg starts doing really fucking good.
I won one tournament against a bunch of North American players with a bunch of risky fucking builds.
Greg's brain registers it as, everyone else is really bad, I've just been doing the same thing, only now I take risks.
No. I've said I cheese every game, and people fucking can't click force field fast enough, so it works. That's not a good way to play.
I raise my glass to you, Greg. Congrats on that IPL win. Not a good way to play. Shut the fuck up.
If Kiwikaki had not attacked into, like, plus 40 supply of Hydra Roach on Terminus Ray, I would have lost. So that's not really a good argument.
Had every quarterback that threw an interception not thrown an interception, maybe the game would be different too, but that's part of the game.
But it shouldn't be. If you weren't retarded, you wouldn't have done that.
Greg, if the entire world were ruled by robots like you wish it were, then perhaps this would be a legitimate thing to say. But it's not. People make mistakes because they're human beings. It's a part of the game. It even happens in Korea.
Yeah, any competent player wouldn't do that. There just happens to be no competent Protoss in North America.
Fighting words. You threw the glove.
The gauntlet.
I kind of want to...
it's not fighting words. Greg and I have this talk all the time.
I kind of want to throw to Sean here, because it looks like he's been wanting to say
Dude,
something.
I agree. Zerg's overpowered, man.
Oh, God. Sean, did you happen to catch those finals? Did you watch any of those games?
Of DDE versus EG.IdrA?
Yeah.
I saw one of them, which was the Shakros Plateau game. And it's... I actually will say that was kind of all-in-y, but I actually watched 3/4 of it. So I don't even know how the game actually ended. But it's a dangerous move to like put a whole bunch of tanks and turrets and marines sort of pushing up that ledge, but it worked out really well. And that's literally all I can contribute to the entire discussion. I mean, unless you want to ask me some pointed questions, JP.
I'm trying to think. I actually just want to throw to Greg. Greg, did you lose that series because Metalopolis had close spawns? I'm just gonna throw it up to it.
Oh, they had a close spawn Metalopolis in that tournament?
Yeah.
Yep.
Did that? I mean, that was one of the games that actually got a response out of you. Did you just? I mean,
well, it's silly. Like I can't
when you
imagine.
saw a close spawn, were you just like, well, if he 2-racks is here, it's pretty much over?
No, I knew the game was over when I scouted him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I lost another 3 games. It was silly. I can't imagine a tournament actually using that map.
Do you feel that is?
Shit too.
I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. Do you feel like that? Were you upset after losing that game so much so that it affected your play? Or
no, not really. I knew that map was in the pool. I knew like I would have a 33% free loss.
I guess that's what I'm fishing for. So I guess that's enough.
Like I want to ask this, Greg. Have you ever considered switching races, and like why not?
Certainly.
And I know a lot of people will say that as kind of like a jab, but like, is there a reason that like you haven't done it as like a serious question?
No, I've honestly always felt that Blizzard would have to make substantial balance changes before I would reach the equivalent level with the new race. And I mean, it hasn't happened. If I switched to Protoss back in January or whatever, I would be performing better now than I am with Zerg. But I always assumed that Blizzard would make significant balance changes before it paid off, and I was wrong in that assumption.
So are you considering it more now?
No, because
Or do you think they're closer?
They've already started making pro Zerg balance changes.
Mm-hmm.
They're just being slow about it.
Greg, what happens when you switch to the race that you say is overpowered and you don't win everything, though? Because you know that
I don't
will
expect
happen.
to win anything. I don't expect to win everything, but I would win a lot more than I do now.
I disagree.
That's fine.
I know it's fine. I'm just saying, do you understand that I'm going to get inside your head for a second?
Oh, God.
When you give yourself a situation where you have no more excuse and you lose, what do you blame? The game?
I don't make excuses when I lose ZVZ. Like, I lost to Zenyu, I said I was behind the meta game. I didn't realize Infestor Turtle was better than Roach timing attacks. Now I know that. Now my ZVZ is better.
Okay. Artosis sucks with Protoss, by the way.
Artosis is Artosis.
He was better with Zerg.
When in doubt,
he
there's
was
always
better
fans.
with Zerg.
It's because he had played a lot more with Zerg.
Yeah.
And even his PVC is bad.
He's just
He does,
really
like,
bad.
Nexus DT and Indus.
Like, he should know PVC.
He's just really bad.
I don't know.
His Zerg was pretty good. It was okay. Did well.
Trying to think
Poor
of some reason.
Artosis.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some reason to throw to Sean here, but I don't.
Dude, I'm ready. Let's throw to me. I can talk about stream sniping if you want, because my opinion is, I'll throw it out there.
Don't stream.
Yeah, do a stream, motherfucker.
Yeah.
No, like, cause when I start streaming games, like, I will treat it the exact same way I'd practice.
Wait, hold
in Brood
on,
War.
hold on. Did you just say that you're going to
Was that
start
a
streaming
hypothetical,
games?
or was that
Yeah, this will be number 1 on Reddit, Sean. Are you going to start streaming games?
Yeah, but the thing is that a lot of people are like, when are you going to start? It's like, when I'm not so embarrassingly terrible. Because when you have to take 2.5 months to only cast and do your thesis, and then you come back, your hands feel horrible. Oh my god. You're like, mine SCV, and the SCV goes behind the mineral. How's my strategy?
Isn't that
I don't
the
know.
worst
I can't
feeling?
click on the mineral. Like, what the fuck? What?
Sean, I just want to thank you.
What?
I used to get shit for being the guy that hyped shit and then didn't deliver. Now
Dude,
it's
what?
you, my friend.
Now it's Sean, day 9 plus.
Hyping this stuff, not delivering, dude, I'm telling you, I'm like fucking terrible, and it's going to be a long time. You should not anticipate it. And it will
That's what
probably
I'm saying.
not happen. See, that's what I'm saying. See, I totally know. There's nothing exciting going to happen in the next year out of me.
Oh, so
It's
many
gonna be like
fans.
StarCraft 4, The Legend of the Thor, like some kind of weird Terran episode, and Sean's like, guys, got news for you. 6 months from now, you'll start streaming.
SC1.
Ready to go.
Like, the 4 people who still have Icy Cup because they couldn't afford computers for 10 years, I've been playing against them.
Jeff, the next thing is Feast or Famine. No eyes on prelims. Decent for finals, but not 10K worthy. Kind of expand on that a little bit. Are you mentioning the fact that the complexity finals didn't have enough eyes on them?
Well, it's not even just to single them out. It's just kind of an interesting subject because, like I said earlier, I was talking to Hotbid, and like when Greg streams, it's like 7,000 or 8,000. When Tyler streams, it gets upwards of like 4,000, sometimes higher. I myself enjoy fairly good degrees of success, so I don't like go around checking other people's streams. I usually watch Tyler, Day 9. Sometimes I'll check out Destiny. Sometimes I'll watch Minigun. A lot of Protoss players I like to watch and see what they're kind of working with. And I haven't really noticed anything, but then Rich and Hotpip were like, yeah, it's either, like, because one of the things I mentioned is I said it used to be that coaching was all the craze. Like, every top player coaches.
Yeah.
And that's how they made their money. And then I said, now it's streaming. I think every top player makes their money. It's certainly not by salary, but the way they make their money is by streaming. And they said, no, it's actually, I think it's bottomed out, and I think it's actually on the decline. It's feast or famine right now. And I was like, that's, at first my initial reaction was, that's wrong. But then I checked the other streams.
Yeah.
There's like really good players that top out at 200 or 300 people watching. At any time.
And I definitely think that is credited to the fact that IdrA is IdrA. He'll speak his mind. Destiny is Destiny. He'll speak his mind. TT1 won't fucking talk. So he's just going to play his game, and people, for the most part, don't want to tune into a player who's just going to play. They want that commentary, and I think that's
I very
why so many
rarely
people...
put commentary on my stream.
Yeah, but the thing is you type. You respond to your opponents, or you'll...
Not all that much, actually.
Well, those few
but
moments
they
that
feed
actually
on
happen.
when you do.
Yeah.
So.
Let me say this. If this were an RPG, there's like characteristics of every player that adds to the fan base. Greg has superstardom. He's one of the superstars.
Right.
Greg has the NASCAR effect, where people don't watch because they don't give a shit about the results. They just want to see him rage or crash. But then he also...
I get it.
No, I'm actually just trying to think of the percentage of people who watch NASCAR. Like, I fucking hate this sport. I hope someone crashes,
Dude,
please.
that's
Probably most people that
That's
watch
like
NASCAR.
60% of
high.
people. Are you kidding me, Sean?
You get drunk and wait for people to crash their cars. It's like
I
Pretty
can't
sure
imagine any
that's
other reason to
100%.
watch
it's not
that
the only
stuff.
reason
No,
why.
I
But
can't
it's why a
imagine
lot
the
of
reason
people
to watch
do.
it, but I still don't watch it.
ESPN highlights of NASCAR. You
Dude,
guys say more.
have you noticed how
Yeah.
ESPN is like focusing on NASCAR now? The other day on what is the show that
It's
comes
on
on after
football
Mike
season,
and Mike,
yeah.
Jeff?
Well, I don't know.
Oh God, one of the like biggest shows on ESPN.
Around the
spent-
horn?
maybe something like that. It spent the entire hour on NASCAR, and nothing.
It's one of the most watched sports in
It
all
is,
of
man. It's
sports.
blowing up.
They actually make ridiculous money too, like the drivers. It's
Yeah.
disgusting.
No, they make millions upon millions.
Hundreds of millions.
each year. I mean, yeah. It's
Like golf.
Anyways, that's really depressing. Let's get back to
Golf is
StarCraft.
yeah. Let's jump back
Like,
to StarCraft. I'm
Yeah, you
sorry.
keep
I
referencing
feel
these
like that's-
sports. Who's watching sports?
I apologize. When I get drunk, apparently I talk about things that nerds don't care about. So
Yeah.
This is
Um,
true.
Like, because I actually don't. I mean, unless Rich and Hotbit are referencing statistics that I don't have, I actually don't feel like that's entirely accurate. That it's feast or famine,
Really?
unless you're like really comparing ridiculous extremes. Because I actually watch tons of the non-featured streams. I make myself at least once a day open up one of the non-featured streams and just watch it. I mean, largely because, since my daily is educational, I want to see what people who are just at all skill levels are doing. And plus, I just like watching StarCraft in general. But most of those people will have, like, in the tens. Very few will ever have up to, like, 30 or 40. But even among the featured streams, you get, like, the full spectrum of people who are, the 1 to 200 sort of consistently. Like, I've seen Protech, the 2v2 streamer. He's at, like, 200s generally. And then you'll see a lot of, like... You're laughing. Because what is it?
Watching Protech is actually really funny. Everyone should do that at least once in their life. I'll just say that.
Oh,
much.
like...
Once in their life.
Because I never know, because I always watch streams muted, because I listen to music while I'm watching streams.
Oh, okay. See, watch that unmuted for one time, Sean.
I actually watch the games, but then like for instance, Minigun's streaming right now, and he seems to be like another class of players
It's
who
got
will
like
have
1,000
like
people.
yeah, like the 600-700, and then like there's a couple who are generally a little over 1,000,
Right.
and then it like goes up from there, and then there's like the sort of like insane viewership numbers,
That's true. There's like after the 1,000 mark, there's like EG.InControL, he's like 2K to 3K. Destiny usually has like 2K to 4K. EDRA can usually be anywhere from 2K to 15K. It just really depends on the time of the day. Who else gets up in the high numbers, Sean?
I mean,
Zane,
Hug-
White Raw.
Yeah,
Tyler.
White Raw is definitely one of the big numbers.
yeah,
TLO.
White Rock. I don't know too much about his numbers. TLO does seem like one of the really high numbering ones, where he almost always has over 5,000.
Yeah, that's true.
Select
That's true.
usually has a lot.
Select, yeah, Select.
Then
Select
usually has a lot.
Select has a bad stream though, so it's kind of wishy-washy. Yeah.
Well, Select is actually his numbers aren't particularly high.
But he's consistent. Like whenever he's streaming, he always has a lot.
Yeah, he'll always have like a little under 2,000 when I've ever tuned in, and I don't leave my fucking room, so I think I'm a pretty good representation when he's streaming.
I challenge you to, Sean, check it out though. Like look at the featured stream and just hover your cursor over each one throughout the day. There's a lot that are at like 200-300, and that's when you compare that to a player who's around their skill but does a show or is kind of a community person, and they have 2,000 or 3,000. It's quite the disparity.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten 2,000 streaming Diamond Ladder before, so...
To give you an idea of how bad you can be and still get a lot of people.
Exactly.
Well, also at the
Artosis
same
gets like
time-
6K easy.
Artosis is
Okay.
actually like one of the rare... Yeah, he gets up there, man.
Artosis is a step into Media Event because he treats his stream just like Media Event was. I love
Yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah.
Every day it's like, hey guys, I love you. Check this out. There's this awesome thing. Let's play some games. And then halfway through it's like, this game's stupid. Protoss is terrible, and I hate everyone. And then at the end of it, it's like, I'm gone. See ya. I don't give a shit. Bye. Then he logs off. That's how every Media Event day was. It was like, hey guys, let's play some games. I can't wait to play G5. We had such great games yesterday. And then halfway through, it's like, you don't macro. You don't micro. You're terrible. The decisions you make are horrific. You're as bad as Machine. And then at the end of the day, it's just log off. I don't give a shit. Goodbye.
And then it was have G5 play EG.IdrA, and that would be our saving grace.
That's how we capped it out.
It's
That was our
kidding to
night.
see.
Sean,
The arch,
I
the
feel
arch
like we
nemesis.
interrupted you from making your point there. Did you want to continue on? We were talking
Oh
about
well,
stream numbers.
I actually I stopped for a moment. I thought like, and what was the point of that discussion?
Yeah,
like,
no, we started spouting off stream numbers.
Well, because Jeff, you brought up that it was feast or famine, and why are we talking about that again? I can't remember.
Because
A brain shot.
the complexity tournament and the
Well,
prelims had, I think,
200
max
people.
of 300. Yeah, 200 people watching, and then the finals, I think, when I casted, had like maybe 1,000, which is actually a pretty good match. And then the grand finals had like, our Saturday we had like 8K, I think, when we ended, and the grand finals had 6K. But I think that number for the grand finals is because some retard on the Team Liquid forum spoiled the finals score. So,
Really?
Well,
yeah.
also, I like myself and a whole lot of other people tweeted right when the finals started,
Really? We never. I don't think we ever got above 65.
or when the quarterfinals started. Yeah, like because I tweeted when it was IDRA Select, because I
Oh, that
sat in.
was
sat
that
in
round
those
of 8,
games.
IDRA? Or was that round of 16? That was pretty
That was
early
the
on.
end of the
Round
first
8.
day.
It was round 8.
Okay, round of 8. Yeah, so
Well,
we had a
yeah.
huge number
We'll
when
take it
that
back
actually
then, yeah.
started. But on Sunday, the numbers were definitely low. And I feel like that's just kind of the result of having so many tournaments, because that night we had NASL, we had the Complexity Pro-Am, we had EG Masters Cup, I think, going on, at least the start of that. There was probably 2 or 3 other smaller tournaments that were...
Did it daily.
Yeah, you had the daily, of course, at 9. I think we're still broadcasting.
Well, one thing that I want to say is that now that I feel like I can actually make a point. First of all, yeah, totally agree with you. In fact, there's a lot of tournaments, yeah. But about the stream numbers, it's kind of like a scale-free effect, where the more people that watch a stream, the more people that will end up watching the stream. So, like, I don't think that it's like if you're 200, then you get to 400 viewers, it will be just as much work to get to 600 viewers. I think it'll be like way, way, way easier. But I definitely think that there's like a mark that if you can like get past like 2,000 or 3,000, then it's just like to infinity if you can get like
And beyond.
the stream start at the right time. Yes.
Well, do you think that feast or famine is going to be a good thing or a bad thing or neither? Because we talked a lot about, we have so much tournament content coming out that's going to encourage organizations to be more interesting and be more, attractive to fans. Do you think if players are making their money this way, that it's going to change the way that players go about marketing themselves or playing? Or
So when you say is it a bad thing, do you mean like will it be difficult for new players to like rely on that? Or
I don't
something
even
like
know.
that?
I mean, I guess what I'm saying is, how do you think it's going to affect players this feast or famine idea?
I think like potentially it could be the case where there's like a strong divergence where like all the middle range streamers just start to plummet or just to start to drift slowly down, and the high end streamers start to drift up as everyone just wants to watch like the ultra premium stuff. I really wonder what the trend will be in the future, because I mean, as anyone who's ever been in esports has experienced, you're always looking for a steady income stream. Like that's why I think the coaching thing, kind of like Jeff, you were saying that it was a huge craze. I honestly think that it's important to state out loud that should always be at least an option for someone, because that's like consistent income. That's something that you can actually like rely on, because you only need one person purchasing, as opposed to like a streamer who might need like 3,000 people watching all day, and if it drops to 1,000, then suddenly you can't pay rent. That's like really hard to rely on. At the very least, I mean, if you're someone like Greg and you can put up consistent results, you could rely on streaming for like a reasonable thing. But I don't know, Greg, if you felt pressure to perform better. I mean,
I can make a comfortable living off my team salary no matter what. So like everything else is additional income for me. So I'm not a good person to ask about that.
Yeah, because I mean, like, I just think that's a really great point to bring up, is that like you're already in a comfortable position, but I don't think anyone should look at streaming and say, I have never streamed before. Let me get into that and rely on that.
Yeah.
No, if I were dependent on streaming, I personally would be okay with it just because I can get those numbers consistently. But just as a regular player, it would be really scary because it is very variable. It's completely dependent on who else decides to stream when you do. And like Destiny makes a ton of money off it, but he does God knows how many hours a day.
Is he streaming like 24 hours a day? I swear to God, I can open up Team Liquid.
He streams a lot.
At any given time of the day, and I'll just see his name.
I'll say this about streaming though: it rewards people. It's undeniable that you are rewarded for being a character and
More
one
so
of the
than a
defining
player, yeah.
factors of your character could be that you're good at the game, but it's not necessarily the most important facet. Look at
I agree.
Destiny, who's not necessarily a great player, but he's one of the most popular streamers.
Yeah.
Destro, a guy who I turn on every morning just to get pissed off at my life. Every day. I get so angry.
Well, that's kind of the crux of the question for me is like, you know, is this going to change? Because we always have this, like with NASL saying we want the story, and everyone's like, we don't care about the story, we want the game quality. You know,
They do want the story.
Yeah, so, I mean, is this going to change what a pro player has to be in order to support themselves? I mean, do they have to have personality?
It's just something to take into account. But go ahead, Greg.
I think it'll just be a niche thing. Like, someone like Destiny now can make an income off of gaming. He couldn't otherwise, like, he can't win a tournament, but he can off streaming because he has that personality. Yeah. And all of the legitimate players will keep making it off tournaments and sponsorships and salaries and all that.
It's cool, though. I don't think it's a bad thing. Like, I'm actually...
No, it's not.
I'm happy that a Destiny can quit his job and make a living because people like to tune in. That's a good thing for esports. You know, I've had debates with him in the past. I've obviously teased him a bunch, but it's really cool to me that this game can provide for a person who's not winning tournaments, who's not doing well in anything, but he provides entertainment. And in this mode, this medium of StarCraft 2, that's enough for people to tune in and day out for hours on end. And that means that the growth of the game's good. So to your question, Anna, I think it's cool that players can look at the streaming like ability and say, well, I can either be a really good player, or I can commentate my games, or I can be a character, or I can do these shows, or I can be a comedian, and people will come in and tune in. That's kind of a growth of esports. It's kind of cool, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. It's true.
I know that trying to explain it to anybody who doesn't follow esports is hilarious. I've tried to explain to multiple people what you do in streaming, and they're like, it's like TV on the internet.
I just tell people that they're like teachers. I don't even bring up it's video games when I talk about StarCraft. I just say, oh yeah, they're tutors. They teach math. It's just not worth it to try to explain it to them a lot of the time. Like, not like people our age is okay, but like older people, like your grandparents or whatever, when you're trying to explain to them, you know, who you're talking to, what are these things, what are these events you're going to? It's like, oh, don't worry about it.
Well, Sean, how do you approach your family? Do you say you're a broadcaster, or do you say you're a shoutcaster?
His mom's
exactly what I do.
His mom's his agent, dude. What the fuck?
Well, no, I know. I mean, like his grandparents.
It's not my agent. Like, grandma and grandpa don't even know what the internet is, so that's like a little tough. But I mean, like, with streamers, like, you know, like, I mean, I wouldn't call them teachers. I would explain it like, yeah, it's like if you could watch a great artist from scratch make a painting, and you could see that process. That's what, like, I tune into streaming for.
And then they'll tune in and be like, where the fuck is the paint and the
paper?
Where is the paint? But it's for a game. Like, well, things I like completely refuse to shelter like the fact that I'm a gamer at all. Like with anyone, even if I'm just like striking up a conversation with like the cash register.
Or open with
the cashier at the cash register.
An
important distinction to make.
I want to confirm that's probably true. Sean will tell anyone any part of his life.
That's true. I would.
I have to say that my grandma knows exactly what Jeff does, and is
that's what I'm talking about.
Not mine.
My grandma has a crush on Jeff.
That's weird.
just like, all right, okay. I don't really know how to deal with that. Jeff, next up on the list, you've got NASL. Are the playoffs actually starting? Has it been 8 weeks already, or 7 weeks?
This is week 8 coming up.
Oh,
wow. It's started just now, yeah.
I feel like it took me 8 weeks to type up your interview that I did with you.
Yeah, it's just kind of interesting. People are playing 4 spots in the top 16 right now. Like, if you were to ask Greg what his scenario is, he knows exactly what it is.
Greg, what's your
scenario? Because it matters a lot.
Zenio has to drop a game and I have to win out to get guaranteed around a 16 or top 16, whatever. And if
round of 6.
Let me pull up
top
some
16.
results here.
If he wins out and I win out, then it gets messy. I'm not entirely sure.
So, Jeff, kind of explain how some of the playoffs work, or how the actual playoffs work.
It's like it's MLG confusing, actually, and I was really surprised that this happened underneath.
Where's Mott Bob? We need a flow chart. Someone get him on the phone right
Any
now.
tournament run by me could be described in color-coded Lego blocks, so I don't understand why.
the tournament I cast happens to be just as confusing as MLG, but the top 2 of each division go to the final 16, which means that they are given I think it's a $500 stipend, and they compete for $100,000 in prizes. So I think if they win a round, they're in the money type of thing. Or maybe maybe the top 16 get money. I'm not quite sure.
I'm pretty sure it's money just for top 16.
So
yeah.
You said top 2 of each division, so that's only 10 people, right?
Top 2, and the number 3 and 4 of each division go to a playoff, which is 4-man groups, and the winner of each group advances to the finals. So that's really cutthroat.
Yeah.
And then it's like number 5 and 6, maybe 7 of each group is allowed to go to the season 2 without qualifying.
So
and then the bottom 2 or 3 of each division is knocked out.
Real quick, the top 3, just to mention some big names, we've got WhiteRaw in there, Nada Naniwal are also in there, Hasuop's Ace, EG.IdrA, which of course Idra already spoke to, and who is in the first? Phoenix and Moon in the other one. So I feel like WhiteRaw, Nada, Naniwal, and EG.IdrA should come out of that.
We'll see. It's crazy. If anything's true, it's that whenever you have a bunch of really top-level players, especially given the factors they have to play in, which is that it's all in the North American server, which disadvantages everybody at North America players. The Koreans have to wake up at an ungodly hour. But what I find cool about that is that the ones that are taking this serious are doing really freaking well. Like July, Boxer, Nada.
Yeah, July's 6.
They're not necessarily the best Koreans, but they're doing fantastically well because they're taking this shit serious.
Who did July lose to, Jeff?
He got walked over by WhiteRaw.
No, Ensnare is the one that he lost to.
Well, he got dominated by Ensnare.
Oh.
It was he took a walkover versus WhiteRaw, never mind, in week 1.
Oh, okay. I'm just kind of looking at these brackets, because I gotta say, Jeff, it is impossibly hard to keep up with an ASL. There are so many matches streamed.
There's a lot of games.
Each week. I mean, 6 games basically scheduled Wednesday through Sunday. Some of those games aren't actually happening, but still, is there any, kind of in the future, is there any way to watch that differently or stream those amount of games differently?
I would just strongly recommend getting the high-quality streams so you have access to the VODs. So you can watch it at your own leisure. But I'll tell a funny story, because it's not like it's just hard on the viewership end.
Yeah,
it's hard on friends, too. Yesterday we cast for 12 hours, and that was a weird marathon for me. But who it was really weird for was fucking Greetorp. So this kid walks into the studio, sits down next to me, drops a bag. The bag's got like 6 or 7 cold coffees in it. And I go, what the hell is that about? And he goes, dude, don't tell anyone, but I haven't fucking slept yet. And I go,
was that the night he was streaming?
Yeah, he streamed the whole night.
He played really late, because like, I woke up at like 1, because my body's an idiot. And I was just like, all right, well, whatever. Who's streaming? It was Greetorp. And I was like, I like that guy for both his skill and personality, important factors to streamers. But also, but he was like up with me like the whole night, and then he just like turned it off. And I was like, isn't it like a work day tomorrow? It's like,
it made for an amazing cast, because for the first like 10 matches, he was on his game. He was driven by 6 pounds of caffeine, so he was just totally fine. He ran out of coffee in the last game. He fell asleep like 4 times during the cast.
Wow.
And he would one time I was like, yeah, the blue flames should be really dangerous on this map because the ramp is so far away from the natural, etc., etc. And then Greetorp wakes up and goes, anyways, so blue flames should actually really.
That's actually I feel like that's the most common thing among casters is when you don't listen to your co-caster and then you repeat the same exact thing that you just said.
Now I don't necessarily agree with that, JP, but I will note.
I feel like that's happened multiple times in MLG's events because we're so fucking weird.
JP, people are asking for Destiny to come on. You should invite them.
Well, I think Sean is going to bow out here pretty soon, so maybe we'll drop him into the call.
Drop Day 9 or play him with another D. Play some with another D, man.
At least let me high five Destiny.
All right.
Or I guess Y5 him.
Y5 him. I don't know. Do any of you guys have Destiny on Skype so you can just request him into the call? Go ahead and
how do I do that?
Right click his name and mount the conference, or just drag him into the call.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I use Skype like 0.8.
Yeah, you have like the first version of Skype, so who knows if this is actually going to be capable for you to do.
He goes, I'm not going to lie. I have the first version of this.
Dude, I use that phrase like so much, like all the dumbest circumstances. Oh man, how it?
And yeah, bring Destiny on because we're about to get to that thread.
Yeah. The next thing up is the casting language thread. I think.
Bring him on. Version 2.0.
Oh god, that actually froze Skype once again. Let's see it.
This is just going to devolve into your conversation, and we're not actually going to say anything.
No, Greg, you'll be a part of it. It's going to be liquid gold, man.
Holy shit.
Destiny. Destiny, it was your destiny to be on this call. How's it going, man? Hello?
I gotta get some headphones in. Hold on.
Oh my, this is like inside the game all over again.
Is this destroying your cast?
Oh yeah, everything's already fucked up. But when Sean leaves, it'll be okay. As long as Destiny has a webcam. So Sean, get the fuck out. Yeah, I mean that's the next thing up on your list of things, Jeff, is the casting language thread. And you're gonna have to open this up by explaining kind of what's going on here.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I want to at least contribute some to this before I go.
Okay.
Before I fucking leave.
Get the Sean.
Get the fuck out.
Did Destiny have to go to the Walmart to buy some?
What? That's so mean. That's so
No,
mean.
Kmart. Come on. He's
Kmart?
in Kansas or whatever. Nebraska.
They don't have Walmart in Kansas or Nebraska? Destiny, are you there?
They have Walmart everywhere.
Yeah, I'm here. What's up? Can you hear me?
Hey, what's going on, Destiny?
What's up?
Not much, man. So we wanted to bring you on, and I think you wanted to come on. First off, we'll address why did you want to come on the show? What point did you really want to make before we go on to this casting?
Oh no, I was just watching. I was just captivated by your talking about streamers or whatnot.
Do you want to comment on that at all?
I think you guys pretty much covered all the bases. I mean, personality is really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was exciting.
Sweet.
Sick.
Yeah, that's good.
Thanks for coming on. No.
Thanks for coming on. We'll see you later, Destiny. I'm going to boot you off and see you this week.
No, we're just trolling. Well, the next subject, Destiny, is obviously that conversation we had on Weapon of Choice, but just to kind of revisit it, and you represent an opinion that a lot of people share, so it's not like you're some kind of strange alien from a different planet. You actually have an opinion / voice that a lot of people agree with. And I'd love to hear Sean's opinion on this because obviously he's one of the most prominent commentators in all the land. But one of the hot-button topics right now, at least that people are discussing, is kind of caster conduct. And I guess you could, I mean, obviously as a caster, all you have is your language. So the big discussion is, Sean, do you have to reform yourself? Are there certain words that are absolutely taboo and as a community figure you should just not ever go near, regardless of the context? Or would you be in defense of the fact that, I'm sure Destiny can go into more length about this, but if people are offended by certain words, it's more their issue, and you don't mean it that way. Because gamer lingo uses the word like rape, or racial slurs, or harsh words.
I mean, I'm fortunate in that, like, I was never, like, the most vulgar person to begin with. I pretty much in the daily talk very similarly to how I talk normally, but I will say I do avoid, like, the F word if I'm at, like, you know, an MLG or something like that. I something I can't say anything bad at an MLG, but for the most part, like, I guess, yeah, I don't really use a lot of those, like, gamer terms, like rape as much, or like, oh, that was retarded or something like that, just because, like, I don't find them to be as useful for me, like, in terms of language, because I will say I love language, and I'm just obsessed with cool words. Like, my homepage is Merriam-Webster Word of the Day, like that sort of thing. And those words don't really quite capture what I want to say, like, but the word shitty is probably the most commonly used word that I do say, and that really captures the essence of what I want to get at. So honestly, for me, I've been kind of fortunate in that I don't really, I've never really thought about it too much, except when I go to major tournaments, and then I do tend to just completely avoid it. But I guess, I mean, if you want to be, like, a good commentator, I think that there's a lot of people who do use curse words as kind of like a crutch. Like, in their language, they'll just, like, throw it out, like, as their color flavor words instead of, like, trying to use other interesting words. Like, I tried to, I got used to the sort, what's that word?
Thesaurus?
Thesaurus.
What is a dinosaur?
Thesaurus.
To figure out your words, Sean.
Thesaurus. To like find a million different ways I could to say that guy got crushed or dominated or rolled or wrecked or stomped instead of, you know, raped, which was like the more common gamer term for that.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that is like important for someone to do if they really want to pursue that, because I do think that there's like a reasonable amount of organizations who are hiring you who will say, okay, you can't use this set of words, and completely ignoring the fact that they're vulgar words. If you're not allowed to use like adverbs, for instance, when you're talking, you should have, if you're supposed to be like a wordsmith or someone who likes language, you should have some way to talk without using those. And so I think that's like an extremely important skill for a caster to have. But in terms of should I curse or should I not curse, I think the most important thing for any commentator is to be yourself. Because if you're trying to fake it, like, it's going to come across pretty quickly. That's my long rambling dialogue on that. I don't know if anyone has any opinions on that necessarily.
Destiny, you're the voice of contention.
What? Oh, no. We're arguing two totally separate things. No, I agree. I think you should. I think the most important thing is you just need to look at your audience, and go with that. I mean, you're casting a big tournament, and your audience is going to be a lot of people, and you're not looking to, I don't know, stand on a soapbox and try and convert the entire world to your way of thinking. Just use whatever language you think is most appropriate for the setting.
And I would even argue at the same time that, like, you, Destiny, don't pump up your language just for the sake of the stream, or am I wrong on that? It's not like you are some virtuous, very clean-tongued person was like, I'm going to stream. Allow me to change myself.
Oh, no, I think that people approach language very, I don't know. I don't like most people's approach to language, including the people that I would cater to if I did have to cast a big tournament. Like when I was, I casted some tournaments for the Reddit Open a while ago with a friend, and I wasn't dropping, horrible language on that when I was doing that. I don't necessarily agree with how most people think about it, but due to the fact that you don't want to lose your entire audience when casting those tournaments, you would probably cater to what they'd most want to hear.
Wait, sorry, was the question asked to me? Because
oh no, I was just responding to what you said.
Oh yeah, like that, because there was all this silence, and I was like, yeah.
Well, I think most of the conversation, okay, I mean, I think we all agree when casting a major tournament, you're not supposed to use harsh language. If I understand, and again, of course, don't let me speak for you, Destiny, but if I understand correctly, the argument we had on Weapon of Choice was that if you are on your own stream, you should be able to use whatever language you want, because that's how honestly you feel about it, right? Like, certain lightning rod words like rape or nigger, it's totally fine to use.
Yeah, on your own stream, on your own, when you're representing yourself and whatnot, I would say that whatever you feel you want to do or however you want to represent yourself is fine. But if you're casting a large tournament or you're trying to appeal to a wider audience, it's something that you would take into consideration as you're casting. Just because I feel how I do about language on my stream doesn't mean I would take that same attitude and try to impose it on a larger audience in casting for larger tournaments.
Well, I think
that's
we all
fair,
agree on that.
Yeah, because if I'm tuning into an individual stream, then I can just turn it off if I don't like the way they use their language. But at a major tournament, you're trying to, provide content for
people come to Destiny stream to see Destiny rage or whatnot. People go to watch the NASL or whatever because they want to see the tournament, not just because they want to really hear what the caster has to say.
I think we're all in agreement on that. I think where my opinion breaches your comfort zone, Destiny, I guess, and kind of the heart of this topic, is, and this is actually interesting for me. I don't mean to single you out because you're actually just you're one of the many. There's other people who have the same opinion of you. And there's people that are critical of me too. It's not like I'm coming from some righteous position where I'm completely correct. It's definitely up for debate, and that's why it's kind of a fun topic to talk about. But I myself obviously make a lot of jokes that rub people the wrong way. I make impressions of races. I make impressions of people. I have come out and made racial slurs, etc. It's not like I'm some kind of prude that doesn't do these things. I absolutely have. I think where the big discussion occurs is that my opinion is that as we become more accessible and viewed by a lot of people, it's us. The impetus is on us as spokespersons of StarCraft 2 in this flourishing market that we need to reform ourselves. And if I understand your argument correctly, is that you use your language on your stream not because you're trying to impress or change or represent people, but because that's who you are, and it should be totally fine to do that, right?
Yeah. That sounds about right.
And I'm more saying that for other people's benefit. I'd love to hear like Tyler or IdrA's or Sean's opinion on that. The girls, whatever.
Fuck JP's opinion, though. He doesn't need to be.
JP, there is one of the girls.
Was there someone about that list? I will say...
Last but not least, JP's opinion.
There you go.
Jesus, you guys are just as bad as YouTube, man. This is so bad. Nothing is safe.
I think you're being kind of polite too, Jeff, because I think part of the crux of the argument is, are those words acceptable? Like, can you say rape? Do you guys think that that's okay to use?
Well, see, and it's really important there because you have to separate a philosophical argument about how we approach language and the actual language that we use in different events. Like I said, I completely and totally disagree with how people approach language in most settings where people are against certain words. Generally, I disagree with them on a philosophical level, but I wouldn't try to impose my beliefs on people and use a tournament as like a personal soapbox for me to kind of try to get my point across. Like I said, if somebody's coming to watch a tournament that I'm casting, then I'll just try and cast the tournament to however I feel the audience would want to hear it, not in accept my philosophy, accept how I use language, blah, 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 because that would be an inappropriate format to try to convey that message.
Leah, how do you feel about the use of the word rape?
Me, oh, sorry.
Well, Destiny can answer for me, too. That's
No, go for it. Nope,
what do you think, Destiny, about the word rape?
What? I don't know. I think it's great. I don't know. Depends on the context. I'm a big context trumps the actual word, but
But
I don't know. I feel the same,
language breaks down
way.
everything.
No, I feel the same way because I mean, if you're talking to gamers, specifically gamers, you know that they're not actually talking about raping someone. But
oh my goodness, that's great. Yeah.
If I'm talking to my mom, she doesn't understand that. So it's just your audience. You have to know who you're talking to. If you say rape on a stream, you shouldn't. I mean, there are so many other words that you can use, but I mean, if you're you grow up like that, you grow up talking to people like that, you grow up being talked to like that, then that's what you're going to say. Like, that's just the first thing that comes out. You don't censor yourself when you're just talking and playing, and I don't know.
Well, I'm of the opinion that, like, people need to recognize that they're in a privileged place and that they owe it to themselves and the community that they represent to have the ability to reform themselves. Like, when I'm hanging out with a bunch of football buddies or, like, guys I just hang out with, am I concerned with terminology as much? No, absolutely not. And when I hear Destiny say nigger or rape on a stream, do I bristle up and get upset? No, I don't. For me personally, it's not that big of a deal. But what I have a problem with is this weird ignorance, in my opinion, that a person like Destiny, and again, I feel bad for you, Destiny, because it's not like this is all your fault. It's just, you're here, so I have to use your name, I guess. But he's enjoyed tremendous success because he's a character. He's doing very well in StarCraft 2. He's getting people to watch his stream, so he's become a representative of our community, whether he likes it or not. And when he uses gamer lingo, like rape, continuously as a spokesperson for our sport, it holds us back on the larger part, because 99% of people are not offended. They don't think when he says, wow, he raped that Protoss, that they're like, oh my god, he thinks that they meant that they pulled down their pants and had intercourse with them against will. But there's that one person out there who has a girlfriend, or
there's the entire mainstream audience that'll be somewhat offended at that.
There's the Forbes editor. There's the person from Microsoft. There's the Blizzard editor. Sir Scoots, who's like, wow, what a child. He can't come up with a better word for this other than the most offensive thing I can think of. And to me, as another spokesperson for the game, I can't help but to bristle up at that. Like, it's not the word that bothers me. It's the reluctance to change in face of our success. I think that's a problem.
I think I agree with what Jeff said. Tyler, do you want to throw into this at all?
I have an absolutely awesome point to make right after Sean departs the show, because I know he said he had to go a while ago.
There you go.
And people have been talking nonstop.
Behind timing! Well, everyone, I must go because you can see there's this giant box computer that I gotta hook up tonight. So I will be departing, and I would like to say sincerest goodbyes to Jeffrey EG.InControL Robinson, and this feels very weird to say goodbye to you because I'm sure I'll see you all the time anyways.
I'll see you in like 2 days, but yeah.
I'm really broken up, but let's go get sushi over the weekend, so goodbye.
Thanks, buddy.
Alright,
That's what she said.
God damn it.
And with that.
All right, and with that, I'm going to go. I'd like to say goodbye to everybody and watch MLG this weekend because I will be casting with JP McDaniel and DJ Wheat and Artosis and Tasteless and anyone else who wants to cast as well.
We got like 30 casters coming. We'll just bring them all in.
Oh, I know, and I really hope they put all 5 of us on camera at the same time.
It'll be like packs all over again. Yeah.
That'll be great. And you can moderate it like State of the Game.
Oh, great. That sounds fabulous, Sean. Thank you for coming on, by the way, Sean, in your blazer. I'm glad you had your blazer.
I'll be wearing it. I'll be wearing it at MLG for any of you who want to touch the blazer.
There you go. There you go. We'll see you, Sean. Thanks for coming on.
Peace. All right, I'm gonna hang up now. Bye.
Peace.
How do I hang up? I want to go. I really want to. There it is.
I'll boot you. Peace. Alright, I don't know where everyone's at on the webcams. Destiny, do you have a webcam? Okay, you're just going to remain a question mark then. On the right side of the screen. Jeff, where do you want to take this from here? This is your show, your last show.
Well, I just posed I posed to the people. I didn't, you know. I'm more interested in other people's opinions.
I'll say a few things.
I obviously have my own opinion, but I've made that quite clear.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, first of all, I think this discussion has a huge parallel to stand-up comedy scene, where you have a lot of comics that refuse to use foul language, like Jerry Seinfeld, for example. I mean, not everyone here is going to be like a stand-up comedy nerd, and
I would agree with you 100%.
Know everything about that. But I think everyone is at least exposed to this discussion a little bit. With respect to stand-up comedy, where some comics will, you know, insert fucking into a joke, and that'll be like absolutely essential to setting the mood for the joke. It'll play some kind of role, and then there will be other comics saying there's another way to tell that joke without using that word, and if you're good at what you do, then you'll find that way to do that, and then you won't have to alienate the people that are uncomfortable with hearing that word.
I mean, it goes farther than that as well. Some I they won't drop midget, or they won't drop any racial slurs or anything like that. I mean, you can go listen to one of the Joe Rogan podcasts, actually. They spent a long time on that, talking about different comics and how far they go. But I think you make a great point that is kind of where it's going to go with casters, so to speak.
I mean, that's the way I feel about it, is if you can do what you want to do while being unoffensive as possible, then that's what you should do. I think some people who are able to listen to pretty much anything and not be offended don't really understand what it's like to be offended. I mean, somebody who knows someone who's been raped or who has been raped, they just can't hear the word rape no matter what context and not feel some kind of sting just from hearing the word.
Yeah.
So it's like...
So it's better not to say it whatsoever, so you don't offend that
right.
minority, regardless. I mean,
I respect context, and I completely understand that if you think about the context rationally, well, then there's no ambiguity about what you're saying. Like, rape is not an offensive word in certain contexts, but you don't always have a rational response to the words that you hear. Like, before you can rationally think about the fact that they're not talking about the crime rape and they're just talking gamer lingo, you'll feel something very uncomfortable that you shouldn't have to feel. You're going to feel some kind of reminder to a traumatic crime that you shouldn't have to feel when you're watching StarCraft. So, I mean, I guess if you're trying to provide content to as many people as possible and not alienate anyone and be like as open and helpful to everyone as possible, then you would go to extremes to minimize offensiveness. But if that's not the kind of show you're running, if you're just doing what you do and take it or leave it, then I can respect that too. But definitely for like major tournaments, it's pretty obvious. I think they should be minimizing offensiveness in every way possible and just finding different ways to express themselves that doesn't sacrifice any of the passion that they have, but just getting rid of the offensiveness, I think, is definitely possible.
I think I'd challenge that a little bit, though, because in stand-up comedy, yeah, there is that debate, but it's a little bit different for gaming because rape has become part of our dialect. I mean, our slang, our colloquialism. Rape means something totally different. It's replacing, or not even replacing. It's part of describing what happened in a game. So if we accept as a community that word is an acceptable, it's acceptable to define that word that way and use that word that way. I think I agree with Jeff that it reflects poorly on our community. So I agree with you, Tyler. It's about context, but I think it goes beyond just the context of the cast, but into the context of, you know, this is part of our linguistic norm as a community, you know?
But I feel like, and to talk about that point, I feel like if you ever want to grow and get more eyes kind of from the outside looking in, that using words like that, using words like rape or whatever you want to throw in there, it's simple enough to just not use them anymore.
Yeah.
You'll get more people to throw into it and kind of believe in the whole thing that we're trying to promote. And I feel like that's just the simple solution.
I think part of the problem, and I'd love to hear, again, the weird misconception, the weird, like, fever that's fed by the fans between Destiny and I is that I have some kind of severe hatred for Destiny. I absolutely don't. I think I regard you as a very intelligent person who has an opinion formulated not, like, out of the air, but rather by a deep thought process. So I'm interested to hear this. I find rape in gaming to be accepted as, of course, not forcible sex on anyone, but when we're trying to grow this game, when StarCraft 2 is trying to push things like TV deals, perhaps, or bigger leagues, hundreds of thousands of dollars, do we need to use that word? Is it worth fighting for? Like, if I use a word or do an impression or make a joke that I find hilarious, and I have no ounce of me that means any harm to anybody, but there's enough people who look at that and say, listen, that's absolutely offensive. I have a terrible time with that, and I lose respect for the things you represent now. Do I need to defend that? And of course, one of the weird arguments in defense of that is, well, people don't like harsh language like the F-bomb or shit or ass. To that, I think we can draw a line definitively, because that's not the same as rape or nigger or racial slurs in general, right? Like, I think we're all educated enough to know that when I say, holy shit, that was an amazing attack, that's not the same as, oh my god, he raped the crap out of that guy. That's not the same.
And I feel like there's other words, too, that we're not even bringing up, like the word retard. That's not acceptable.
Or gay.
Yeah, that as well.
Just
that's
gay
not,
attack.
Or even holy. Or oh my god. Or sniped, maybe for Vietnam vets.
I would
maybe
feel like
sniped might sound a little
bad.
bad.
Make a sarcastic remark.
Or maybe what about nuked? If you have like Japanese ancestry, I don't know if we should reference the ghost nuke spell.
But the argument is you don't see.
My argument is that if you're trying to appeal to a hypersensitive minority by trying to edit out words that might offend a small amount of people, like you could go down that list all day long, and every word you give me, I could give you 3 more different words that somebody could get offended by.
So is your argument then that rather than be sensitive to any of them, we just say fuck it and don't be sensitive to any of them at all?
My argument for myself personally is I'm not interested in acquiring fans that are unable to separate what I'm saying, you know, or to understand what I'm saying, I guess. If I say something like, oh, I just raped that Marine, and they're like, oh, God, like, rape, he said the word, like, I'm not interested in acquiring that person, I guess, as a fan, or I'm not trying to appeal to that kind of a person.
And you two are appealing to 2 completely separate types of people, it seems like a lot of the time. I mean, Jeff, you have your stream and everything, but you also have NASL, and you're supposed to be this paragon of the community, whereas Destiny, that's not what he's trying to do. He's trying to entertain his fans, and I don't know, it just seems like you guys... This is a never-ending argument between the two of you.
Let me speak to that, though, because that's a great point. That's a great point. Let me speak to that. Because I think it's a fallacy to assume that being a streamer is not comparable to other things. Because of Destiny's success in streaming, he's been interviewed by a prominent magazine. Which one was it? Forbes?
Yeah.
And you know what? In the future, Destiny's going to get more interviews. He's going to get more attention because of how successful he is as a streamer. So I think it's this weird misconception we have where it's like, I as a streamer, I as a caster am so different from Destiny as a streamer. It would be ignorant to think that Destiny's success as a streamer is secluded to his own stream. Now, the counter-argument to that, too, which I find interesting, is that
later Destiny would make the point, I am so successful because I am the person that I am. But I find that to be a lump sum argument in favor of, like, somehow his fame is attributed to the fact that he says nigger or rape. I don't think it is.
No.
I think you could easily remove nigger and rape from his lingo and still be the same person.
Maybe. I mean, it's all kind of part of the same thing. Or I don't know. The language that I use is kind of all part of who I am. But something that you mentioned that's very important is that you went pretty, I don't want to say out of your way, but you pretty much marketed yourself kind of like, you